Okay, if you've ever led a team, I bet you know this feeling. You spend ages,
Yeah.
right, synthesizing data, talking to everyone. You finally nail down this perfect strategy. It's clear, it's logical. You present, it makes total sense in your head. And then you look around the room, blank stares. Or worse, you get questions that just prove they missed, like half of what you said.
Mm.
And you're sitting there thinking, why don't they get it? It's so simple.
Yeah, that moment, that disconnect, it's probably the biggest source of friction in any organization. What we really saw digging through the research is this central idea. The truly hard part of leadership isn't, having the vision. It's helping everyone else see it with you. A strategy that only you understand. Well, that strategy is basically dead on arrival.
Right. So our mission today is to really dive deep into closing that gap. We're shifting the focus maybe away from the leader as the lone seer, the one on the mountaintop, to the leader as the multiplier. How do you actually translate your insight into shared action, shared ownership?
It really demands a shift in how you see your role. You have to stop thinking of yourself just as the director, the one giving orders, and start seeing yourself as an interpreter, a translator. You're the bridge between the big abstract idea of what's possible and the concrete stuff your team needs to do, like tomorrow morning. You've got to connect those dots.
Let's unpack that common trap, though, because I think we all fall into it. We think because we see it clearly, everyone else must too. We made those 50 mental leaps to get to the conclusion, and we just kind of assume everyone else followed along silently. And that assumption, it can be really damaging.
Oh, absolutely. It's exactly what leads to that deep misalignment we talked about. People end up working on different things or pulling in opposite directions. Trust starts to break down. They get fatigued trying to figure out what's really important. And you, as the leader, you feel like you're constantly just pulling people back on track. It's exhausting.
And this skill, this vision multiplication, it isn't just like a nice-to-have leadership quality anymore. It feels more like a crucial competitive edge, especially now. We're drowning in information, attention spans are short, things change so fast. If you can't cast a vision that actually sticks, that people feel, you lose ground really quickly. People are looking for meaning now, aren't they? They need the why behind the work, maybe even more than the what.
Exactly. They crave that meaning. And, to illustrate this, one of the sources we looked at examined historical leadership transitions. The example of Moses and Joshua is fascinating. It's like a masterclass in this very idea. Moses didn't just, tap Joshua on the shoulder and say, "You're next." He deliberately, over time, shaped Joshua's perspective. He was ensuring the vision would outlive him.
And what's really interesting there is that it wasn't just a single event, right? It wasn't a memo. It was this intentional process built on, well, the sources highlighted 3 practical things any leader can use.
That's right. 3 key pillars. First was proximity. Joshua wasn't just some staffer. He was Moses's right-hand man, his companion. The texts actually point out he was there when Moses was getting key instructions. He was in the room where it happened, so to speak, not just hearing about the strategy afterwards.
Okay, so being close to the source.
Second was practice, real-world tests. Moses gave Joshua high-stakes assignments, leading battles, for instance. That let Joshua test drive the shared vision under actual pressure.
So it wasn't just learning theory, he was applying it. Got it.
Exactly. And the third pillar was public endorsement. Moses very publicly designated Joshua. He basically signaled to everyone, "This guy sees what I see, he carries my authority." That tells the whole organization, the vision isn't just tied to me, it's transferable, it's shared.
Wow. That's a powerful takeaway for you listening. Your success as a leader isn't measured by how brilliant your vision is on its own. It's measured by how many people carry that vision forward effectively, even when you're not around. So maybe the leader's job isn't to be the organization's eyes.
Right, it's to be the organization's optometrist.
Optometrist, explain that.
Well, think about it. You're not there to point out every single rock or pothole on the path. You're there to diagnose the blurry vision within your team and then provide the right prescription, the right lenses, so they can see the path clearly for themselves.
Okay, I like that. The leader as optometrist. But okay, before you can multiply a perspective, you need one worth multiplying, right?
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize that great leaders deliberately filter how they see reality. Let's get into this 3-lens framework they talked about for looking at any situation.
Yeah, this is crucial. It forces you beyond just surface level data reading. Lens number 1 is the lens of reality. The what?
Yeah.
This is about facing the cold, hard facts, no sugarcoating, no denial. The example used was Nehemiah. Before he even thought about rebuilding, he asked for the raw data on Jerusalem. The wall, broken down, gates destroyed by fire. You need the brutal facts, the metrics, the budget realities, the market share. You have to be honest about the starting point.
Okay, but hang on. I see so many leaders get stuck right there. They get the data, they see the brutal facts, sales are down, the project is failing, and they just freeze. The what becomes overwhelming. How do you move past that paralysis?
That's exactly why the second lens is so critical. This is the lens of theology or core values, the
Yeah.
so what. You take those brutal facts, that sometimes difficult reality, and you filter it through your deepest convictions. That might be a spiritual framework, or it could be your organization's absolute non-negotiable mission or values.
Okay. So this is where interpretation really comes in. This is the filter that makes the difference.
Absolutely. Think about that story of the 12 spies. They all saw the same reality, right? Big wall, strong opponents, that was the what. But 10 of them looked at it through a lens of fear, human limitation. Their so what was basically, we're like grasshoppers compared to them. We need to run.
But Joshua and Caleb used a different lens. Call it theology, call it core values.
Exactly. They looked at the same facts, but their so what was filtered through their belief in their mission, their covenant. They said essentially, yeah, the challenge is huge, but their protection is gone, and our purpose, our commitment is stronger.
Which leads directly to the third lens.
The lens of possibility, the now what. This is where interpretation turns into action. Faith-filled, clear, decisive action. The 10 spies, their now what multiplied fear, resulting in retreat. Joshua and Caleb, their now what multiplied faith, leading to the command, let's go take it. We can absolutely do this.
So for you, the listener, the challenge is, when things get tough, don't just stop at the data. Ask yourself, okay, given our core beliefs, what does this really mean? What's the so what? And based on that, what's the necessary, courageous action we must take now? What's the now what? That's multiplying perspective.
Okay, so now we get practical. The mechanics. You've got this clear filter perspective. How do you get it out of your head, off the mountaintop, and down into the valley where the actual work happens day to day? This is where that curse of knowledge bites us. We assume everyone magically understands the 40 steps we took to connect the problem to the solution.
Yeah, we need that translation guide.
Yeah.
And the research offered a really solid framework for this, the 4 Ps.
Exactly, the 4 Ps. It's a checklist almost to make sure you're hitting all the essential points for clear communication. Number 1, the problem. The why now. You absolutely have to start here. Define the urgency. What's the pain point? What's the threat if we don't act? If the team doesn't feel the why, the vision is just. Nice words. Nehemiah started right there. You see the trouble we are in? Jerusalem lies in ruins. We are in disgrace. He established the pain.
Okay, so in my company, that might sound like, look, our customer churn jumped 15% last quarter. That's costing us real money and damaging our reputation. We have to fix this. That creates the urgency.
Perfect. That's the problem. Then you move to number 2, the picture, the what if. This needs to be a vivid, compelling, maybe even emotional description of the desired future, more than just numbers on a slide. Remember God's promise to Abraham, not a target number, but count the stars, so shall your offspring be. Immense, visual, inspiring. Your picture needs to paint that kind of aspirational image people can latch onto.
Makes sense. Then number 3.
The path, the how. You have to show the way, outline the broad strategic steps. People don't need every single detail up front. That's overwhelming. But they need to see the roadmap. Okay, first we'll focus on X, then we'll tackle Y, which will lead us to Z. A plausible bridge from the problem to the picture.
Like Jesus' commission. Vision was make disciples. Path was go, baptize, teach. The framework, not the micro details.
Exactly. It gives direction without stifling local initiative. And then, maybe the most crucial for getting traction. Number 4. The part, the what's mine. This is the specific personal call to action. If I don't know clearly what my role is in this big vision, I'm just going to watch from the sidelines. Nehemiah was brilliant at this. He didn't just say, let's build the wall. He assigned specific sections to specific families. Everybody knew their piece of the wall, their responsibility, their contribution.
Problem, picture, path, part.
And the secret ingredient that makes all 4 Ps actually stick, we can't stress this enough, repetition. Relentless repetition. The research was clear. The vision needs to become the constant soundtrack of the organization. You need to repeat it in meetings, in emails, in one-on-ones, using different stories, different data points, until you are personally sick to death of hearing yourself say it. That's usually the point when it's just starting to sink in for everyone else.
Okay, I can practically hear listeners thinking, repetition. The 4 Ps every time. I'm too busy. I've got budgets to manage, fires to put out. And the research actually anticipated this pushback, right? Yep. It talked about common pitfalls that kill this whole multiplication effort.
It did. 2 big ones stood out. First is the illusion of transparency. This is where you, the leader, assume everyone knows the background, the context, the why behind the decision. You skip straight to the path or the part without resetting the problem. You might even misinterpret clarifying questions as resistance because you think it's obvious. And you fail to repeat, repeat, repeat.
Okay, so failing to constantly reconnect the dots back to the core why.
Yeah.
That's the illusion of transparency.
Exactly. And the second big pitfall is the babble of miscommunication. This is using insider jargon that newer team members don't get, or sending conflicting messages, or relying too much on just like one-way communication emails, memos without dialogue. It makes the vision feel distant, maybe arbitrary, definitely not something people feel ownership of.
Let's tackle those common objections head on, because they feel very real for busy leaders. Objection 1. I just don't have time to constantly explain myself and tell stories.
Yeah, it feels like a time sink. But the counter is powerful. Spending time clarifying the vision up front is probably the biggest time saver you have. Every minute you invest in alignment prevents hours, maybe days, of rework, confusion, and correcting course later. It's not an expense, it's a massive investment in efficiency and momentum. It multiplies your time, ultimately.
Okay, that's a strong rebuttal. Investment, not expense. What about objection 2? If I keep explaining the problem, picture, path, aren't I just micromanaging everyone?
This is such a crucial distinction to make. It's actually the opposite. Crystal clarity on the what, the picture, and the why, the problem, is what empowers people. It gives them the context and the boundaries. That freedom within the frame allows for huge creativity and ownership on the how, the path, and their part. Ambiguity is what forces leaders to micromanage, because if the destination isn't clear, you feel like you have to constantly check the steering. When the vision is sharp and shared, you can actually step back more.
Wow, okay. Clarity enables autonomy, it doesn't stifle it. That's a paradigm shift for some people.
It really is. And when you get this right, when you truly multiply perspective effectively, you're building a lasting legacy. You're setting up what one source called the 4-generation leader. Think of Paul telling Timothy, the things you Gen 2 heard from me Gen 1, entrust those to reliable people Gen 3 who will be able to teach others also Gen 4. The goal isn't just for your vision to succeed now. It's to design a perspective so clear, so compelling, so transferable that it continues shaping the organization generations after you're gone.
So this deep dive really boils down to 2 actionable frameworks for you, the listener, that you can start using today. First, the 3 lenses for how you interpret reality. Reality what? Values, so what? And possibility, now what? And second, the 4 Ps for how you translate that vision. Problem, why now? Picture, what if, path, how, and part was mine.
Exactly. And maybe to leave you with one final image, it's about the kind of leader you choose to be. Our research surfaced this powerful analogy. Are you a mirror or are you a window? A mirror is impressive, right?
Yeah.
Polished. It reflects beautifully. But all the attention comes back to the mirror itself, the leader's brilliance, their charisma, their ego. And when the mirror is gone, the light goes with it. The team is kind of lost.
Okay, so what's the alternative? The window.
The window. A window is clean, clear, transparent, doesn't draw attention to itself. Instead, it allows people to look through the leader, to see the incredible view on the other side, to see that compelling purpose, that stunning future that awaits. The leader who multiplies perspective gets this. The future isn't something you just see for yourself. It's something you have to build together.
Don't be a mirror, be a window. Stop hoarding your vision. Go out there and become a multiplier of perspective. That's our deep dive for today.